Hey folks, Dave Sharp, co-founder of Empower Network, Dave Wood here, and we're now to core commitment number 5, Empower Hour. And this is a really, really special core commitment. It's very simple too, and I don't want to overcomplicate it. Be on every call. Up until this point, we've done a call every Monday night. It's been a conference call. Sometimes it's a webinar. Sometimes it's a live stream. Mostly it's a conference call. And why we do conference calls, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, you're some internet guys and all this stuff. Well, hey, look, we understand that you have a life and a family. So do we. We have a life. We're doing things. We don't want to be tied to our computer all the time. And maybe you're doing something on Monday. Maybe your son's soccer practice or your daughter's gymnastics or whatever the case may be, and you just want to dial in. We try to make it as accommodating to you in your life as possible. So every Monday night we have a conference call. What do we teach? What do we talk about on these conference calls? All kinds of stuff. And a lot of times these are breakthrough conference calls for people because they're in a situation to where they're least expecting to have a breakthrough. And oftentimes when you're relaxed and you're wide open like that, special things happen. You open your mind up to new possibilities and ideas. You're in a situation to where you least expect hearing something that's really powerful, and you hear it. We bring people on, guest trainers. They come on and they talk about their breakthroughs. This is a free training. This is also something that you can invite guests onto, and that will help close sales for you. Something that's really special about Empower Network is that we do all the selling and you keep all the money. We also make company announcements, and on this Monday night call is where you're going to hear a lot of the new visions for the company, a lot of what's coming out over the next 15, 30, 45, 60 days, and you never know what else you might hear on these conference calls.
Exactly, and a lot of people, they say, Dave, which calls do I need to be at? Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or Eastern Daylight Time, wherever it's at. Any call period, but especially just that time. I want you to take whatever you're doing Monday night at 9, cross it off. It is not as important as what we're doing every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot of times people will they'll get very lazy with their business. And what happens is they get in, they start learning, they start succeeding, but then they get lazy and they think that they've got it. You don't got it, folks. This is an ever-learning, ever-evolving type of a business. We've had to learn and adapt. Launching this company, where we had to learn and adapt. Let me tell you guys a story here. We launched this company. We knew we'd bring in several thousand people. We just knew it, right? We didn't know that we'd bring in 20,000 in 4 months and pay people $4.5 million in commissions in 4 months. We didn't know it would grow that fast. So what happened? Well, our infrastructure cracked down a little bit. We had issues that we didn't know that could possibly, startup issues, right? Because we were inexperienced there. Guess what happened? We learned to adapt and evolve by getting into the right training. Yep. Monday night, what do we talk about? We talk about whatever's the most relevant topic for Empower Network that week. Let me tell you a story. I took Kung Fu my whole life. And I always talk about this because even though I don't really do it a lot anymore, I'm no Kung Fu master, definitely, and there's a lot of people who kick my trash, right? But I learned unbelievable life lessons from Kung Fu. It's been a powerful metaphor for me. And I still remember being in Kung Fu, and it was a very relaxed atmosphere. We'd play music in the background, and they were relaxed because you need to learn to be relaxed in conflict if you're going to survive, right? And one day we started getting too lax. It was different than being relaxed. We were chit-chatting and talking and being lazy, right? And my Kung Fu teacher, he turned the music off. And he said, guys, get in the war room now. We had a war room. Had this picture of this 8-foot-tall Chinese guy that in Chinese history, actually, this guy apparently killed 1 million people on a bridge with this huge sword. He's like, 3 times the size of a normal Chinese person. It probably was not 1 million, but so goes the legend. So we're sitting there with this guy with the huge sword, and my Kung Fu teacher, he's this little skinny guy, right? And he waits till we all sit down. We were the leaders, right? And he sat there silent for a minute, looking down. And then he struck his fist on the table, and he looked up, and he said, "You're being lazy with your Kung Fu, and it can cost you your life." And I was like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? I was like, he's about to cost me my life right now, right? I was like, I was scared, right? Because this guy, he was tiny, skinny, and he was like fighting a waterfall with rocks coming out at your face. It's what it felt like. You're like, and rocks are coming out at your face. It's kind of like what I felt like fighting that guy, even though he was a tiny, tiny person. And what does that have to do? Well, don't get lazy in your business. If you're core, if you're all in, what call do you need to be on? Every call. Why? Because if you go, your team will go. If your team goes to the calls, they will succeed. If they plug into our culture, they will succeed. All the new product announcements are made on the calls. So for example, if we're going to do a new product launch, guess who knows first? Whoever's on the calls. So if you get on one of the calls on Monday night, we launch a new product, and you weren't on the call, don't be surprised if you get 15 emails in a row that says you just lost a commission because you weren't on the calls. You need to be on every Monday call for the next 52 weeks. If you do that, how long does it take? It doesn't take any time because you could be doing other things. That's why it's a call, not a webinar, because it's boring sitting in front of the computer staring at something. However, you could put your earphones in, plug in with your phone, walk around your house, do the dishes, go on a walk, just listen in your downtime, and you will not believe how that information will change your life. It'll change your destiny. Last story. We were doing a conference call. This is short after launch, and I can't remember who this was. I think it was Lawrence Tam, who's made $150,000 here part time as an engineer in the last 4 months. Some retarded, ridiculous, redonkulous number for a part time guy, right? I mean, just selling our stuff. We're not talking about whatever he's done in his other business. This is just selling our stuff. And he was on one of these calls, and he brought up a team member who is in cancer treatment and paid for their cancer treatment, through being an affiliate and selling our stuff. And then a pastor came out, Pastor David Duncan, who, we love you, brother, if you're watching this. And, his little girl just died, and his wife and his little girl got in a car crash, and I can't relate to that. And, he paid their hospital bills with the money he made at Empower Network. We brought out another person in the UK, blind, somehow manages to blog, blind, who's made like $2,000 or $3,000 here. And I was sitting here listening to these calls. I was like, this is just the most badass thing. If I could buy anything, I would, but I own the company. I was like, I want to get all in again. And part of that is, it's like, this is our community, this is our culture. You're all in or you're not. And so there isn't anything more important you could do Monday night than be on those calls. And if we announce something, you'll know. Just be there. Just make a commitment. That's it, period, that you're going to follow the 8 core steps, and I'll see you on the Monday calls, and you're going to dig it. You will get an email. Watch that email like a hawk. If you're in the Facebook group, obviously, you'll know about it just instantly. It's always the same number. We've only changed it one time because I made a mistake and gave out the moderator line to like 1,000 people, and we had to change the thing.
Seating's also limited.
Yeah, seating, it is, and you'll get booted off if you're not there early. So Monday night, get your team, block it off on your schedule every single week. How many weeks a year? Every single week of the year, unless it falls on Christmas or something like that. It'll be a Monday night call. So be there, and I'll look forward to seeing you and see you on the beach of the world.